Hello and welcome to Between Sessions, which is our CMH YouTube for St. Joseph County. My name is Sheila. Some of you might see me, might know me, might have seen me in the past. And our first skill that we're going to be working on today is grounding skill. So what grounding is anytime our head feels in the clouds, it feels like foggy, we're so anxious, our mind is racing, that means that we're not grounded. Our emotions are too high, let's say, we feel really keyed up, out of control. We're not grounded, we're not centered. We're in our heads. We're not necessarily engaging in reality, what's going on around us. And a lot of times you might notice that you don't see everything that's going on around you physically in your space. Like example, we're driving and we're in our heads and we all of a sudden get to our destination and we didn't even notice part of our trip. That's not being grounded. That's not being centered. So what grounding the skill does is take us from that place where we're in our heads and stuck to being more focused in reality. Some people also call this skill mindfulness. You might have heard about that. Being more mindful, in tune with what is happening around us. So why is this important? Why even bother doing this? If we're in our heads, we're giving our heads all of the control. We're giving all the emotions the control to rule our days. And if we actually just focus on what is around us, we can feel more centered. We can feel more at peace with ourselves. We spend so much time thinking about the past and the future that we kind of don't give enough energy to the present, what's actually happening right now. We're dwelling on things that happened 10 years ago that we can't control. We have no way to go and change them. We sit in regret and guilt and shame about those things, embarrassment, even though there's nothing we can do to control them. Or we go into the future and try and control what hasn't even happened yet. We get anxious about it, we get worried, we get embarrassed about things that haven't even happened yet. Those things aren't helpful. That is not being grounded. So what grounding does as a skill is it helps you get right here, right now, back into the present. So how do you do this? There's a lot of different types, a lot of different people have done research on grounding skills and made different kinds of grounding skills. So I'm just going to tell you about some of the types and you can pick which ones seem best for you. The point of it is though, the mechanics of it are, even right now sitting here as you're watching this, try to say the alphabet in your head and also count 1 through 10 out loud. You can't do the both things at once. You can be talking to somebody and thinking in your head some other kind of a things possibly, or you can be listening to somebody and thinking other kind of things in your head. But when you're talking to somebody, we're talking, even as I'm talking right now, I'm thinking about what I'm saying. I'm not able to think about other things. So if you can talk out something, you can be saying something, it distracts you from what's going on up here. So that's how grounding works, and that's a majority of the grounding skills. So for example, is you're in a room, and this should be a safe room. This should be not a room where you have experienced trauma, not a room where there's currently unsafe things happening. It should be just a neutral space. It can even be outside. It can be in a car, you can be at the doctor's office. It's literally anywhere that there's things. So in a room with stuff, for example, my office right here, you start listing out loud the things that are around you. That is it. That is as simple as it goes. You can get as descriptive as you want though, by describing colors of things, shapes, sizes, textures. You can actually physically pick things up, and I don't even have anything right here with me. You can pick something up and start touching it and describing its shape and texture, taking it apart. This is one of the reasons fidget spinners are so popular, because they actually are a grounding technique. But it doesn't have to be that intense. You don't have to fidget with something. You can look around the room and say, there's a green ivy plant. You can even start counting the leaves of it if you wanted to. There is a tannish brown planter, there's a black essential oils diffuser, there's the bricks on the walls, there's a tan filing cabinet with silver brackets, there's a white vase up there, there's another green plant. You can be outside and say, there's a bird, this is what color it is. Honestly, birding, going outside and looking at birds, is so popular because it helps people feel grounded. They're sitting outside looking for birds, describing their colors and shapes and sizes. That's it. So you go and you say, there's a yellow tractor, there's a cow, and here's its spots. You can be in the room and start counting how many windows there are. You can, like I said, start just saying the colors to things, the shapes of things. You just sit there and describe what you see. Out loud is better because it helps distract better, but you actually don't have to do it out loud. You can do it in your head. So if you're on public transit or you're in the doctor's office, people won't look at you strange. Maybe you don't care. I don't care. But if you do care, you can say it in your head. And it's still effective, it's just not as effective. People carry things with them that they can automatically ground with. Like I said, the fidget spinners, putty that you can squeeze, Play-Doh that you can squeeze. They have rubbing stones for this reason, where you rub the stone and it's really soft and smooth. You can have a piece of cloth. I've had people play with their lighters, anything that you have. You touch it, you feel it, you feel more grounded. It centers you. You can also do things that are more physical, like I said, with touching an object, but also you could stretch. Stretching is a distraction, stretching your muscles. You can work from your toes and work every muscle group, and it's called progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense up the part of your muscle, wait about 3 to 5 seconds, and then let it go. You tense your toes, and then your calves, and then your thighs, and your butt, your stomach, your shoulders, your arms, even your face. You scrunch it up and tense it up, which actually allows the muscles to relax if you tense them for a few seconds. You can be grounded by being around your favorite things, your favorite scents, your favorite smells. Using the 5 senses is really powerful for grounding. It helps ground really well. So sight was one of the ones I mentioned by describing the room, but touch was picking up the object, but the sense of smell is really helpful too. That's why I have this essential oils diffuser, because this power of smell is really helpful. So you can have relaxing scents. Even things that smell bad can kind of shock you out of feeling out of control. It's a shock to your system. Cold water is another one of those things that shocks your system. You can be in the shower and put your head down and have cold water hitting the back of your neck. The power of that cold water is really amazing, and it will shock you to see how well it can actually bring your nervous system down and calm you down. So that's always a good thing. You can even run cold water on your hands if you don't have a shower available at that second. Taste is another one. We mindlessly eat a lot of the times, which just means we just eat, and we don't focus on how the food tastes or the textures or what we're tasting. So to mindfully eat, to where it's grounding, would be to take a piece of food and be eating that food for 30 seconds, a minute, just really focusing. Hard candy is a really good one for that, or gum. People will do that with an M&M and just really savor it and focus on what it tastes like. It's getting you away from your thoughts into this piece of candy or food. So getting your favorite foods can also bring comfort. What did I do? Sight. Oh, sound. Sound is also a really good one. Music can be really powerful to help calm us and distract us, but you got to make sure it's not triggering music. That's the thing. It's got to be music that you know won't trigger you to want to do self-destructive behavior. So try this. Try this at home. Try this where you are. If you're feeling like things are feeling out of control, just start looking around you and naming things. Start going around you, and it's pretty basic stuff, but it's powerful, even though it's basic. and I believe that it can help you. And in between sessions, in between when you're in therapy, if something is happening like this, it can tide you over to therapy. Like the message says at the beginning of the video, this is not a replacement for therapy. This is not going to solve all of your problems. Please come and see us. If you are currently a client, see your therapist. Keep going to therapy. If you're not currently a client, you can always call the front desk, 467-1000, and see if you qualify to get back into therapy if you feel like you need it, or we can provide you a resource of where you can go. This is not going to take away all your symptoms. It's just a Band-Aid for those. Okay? Good luck, and we hope to see you soon.